Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines 2. In today's episode, we are currently probably 48 hours away from the new DLC packs coming out, which are the Skyscrapers and the supply chains. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to get this realistic city build that we're having pretty much ready for us to go ahead and start implementing those things. So we are going to be adding in some new highway systems here, and we are actually going to utilize this area here. So it's going to be this peninsula in this area over here, and maybe even into here. We are having issues where there's this water that's somehow getting here. If anybody knows how to fix this, please let me know. If not, I'm probably just going to make this bay a little bit bigger and have sort of like a potbelly cove is what we would end up calling that. So let me know what you guys think of that, or how we could get rid of that if there is any fix to it. But what I wanted to do first of all is move in this new highway system. So right here we have this highway that branches off that comes over here, and this crosses over and ends up in that area, which is sort of where we need to be, but I think we need some more connections to come over as well. So we are going to pop this open, and we're going to go a 4-lane, and we want to raise this up just slightly, not anything too extreme. So we'll do about 2.5 or so. So what the 2.5 does is it allows us to start getting some edge to this. More than likely, because of this bridge that's here and that bridge that's there, there's really not going to be any boat traffic that comes down through here, so we're not really worried about that. And then, of course, we're going to be doing, so that's a 2-lane and this is a 6-lane. This is a 4-lane arched bridge. I don't know if I want to go with that or if I want to go with this. This thing looks absolutely massive. And it transfers to 6 lanes then. Do I want to do 6 lanes? So if we pop that down there, how's that look? It's pretty close to the water. We probably want to raise this up. So let's actually go back. Take this off. And let's get the 4-lane highway here. And take it from there. So there's that 2.5. And then let's actually switch out to a 6-lane. Oop, right there. And then we're going to actually pop this up to about 5. Get us a little bit more leeway here over the water. It does actually, quote unquote, tuck down with the way that that's sitting. So maybe we could actually go a little bit higher than that. So let's try it. Let's see, we can't put it like that. We gotta take it from there. And that has, it's saying that it's going up 1.3%. So is that 180? Right there's 180. That's 3.1. There's 4%. Okay, so that actually has some grade to it. And now let's pop over. This is the new 6-lane. Is this a 2-lane? That's a 2-lane. That's a 2-lane. I wish there was more 4s. But I think that this is going to be the best look for us here. And what's this going to run? There's 180. We want to go about right there. So that gets us some height over the water. And then we'll be able to hit back onto this 6-lane on this side. That's off. Okay, we can't let that snap, and we want to take that right in the center there. A little too close probably, right there. 180. So we'll come off of this. And we'll go, remember, we want a 4% grade. And that's going to be about there. So that gets us the same grade on that side as it does on this side. And this, I don't want this to be elevated, actually. I want that to have this on it. Okay, awesome. So that gives me pretty much the same ability there on each side. I don't know if I like the way that that sticks out as far, but I think we're just going to live with it, sort of thing. And now we're going to break it off into this style. So what we have here is we're going to have, I guess I need a complex curve because we need to actually, let's parallel this. And let's start it right here, right? We don't want those. And we actually need to go over these train tracks. Yeah, because we need to get up over there. So this has to be graded. This is another thing to keep in mind. Let's level terrain. We're going to go up 20. Why'd that go down? Oh, because the target height, so 54 is ground level. We want 70 then? Yeah. So we'll get 70 and 70 on this side. Bring it down to about there. Bring it out like that. And then actually soften this so it's not as harsh. And that will help the grading of the road and everything to work. Just want to keep grading that so it smooths it out. Same thing over here, just grade it so it smooths it out. Maybe even smooth it out on the insides here. And then we're going to, I don't even know if we want this to dip down in here like this now. We might take this here and let's just run it as such. So then we're going to right to there, bring it over to this side and peg it down a little bit. Just like that. And that gets us a little bridge to go over this. Okay, so that is quote unquote smooth. And then we will take this here. Is it going to connect into that? No, it won't. Okay, there we go. So there's that side. And there's that side. And then we'll take the move it tool on the manipulation mode. And we will manipulate this. Because I don't like how sharp this is. We'll take it. That's not doing us good there. Right there. And now we need the better bulldozer. We're going to get rid of the network filters, so that should allow us to just delete these trees and stuff. Because we do not need these. And get rid of that. Those two trees out of the middle. That one because it's overhanging. That one out of the middle. There's never trees on a median. Just as a heads up. Okay, and let's get back to this. So we got the snapping tool on here. We're going to do the complex curve and make sure that we have it all dallied up. Complex curve, please. Okay, and this is going to get us, guess, quote unquote, where we need to be. It's a little bit sharper than I want that to be. So let's actually delete that and delete that. Let's try this again. So we are going to lock it in. That's 180. And there's a nice smooth corner. And then to right there. Awesome. Okay, so then we will pick this up. On about a 5% grade probably. And we're going to go, in all reality, like 10 or 12 high. And I wish I would have. Okay, well now we need to get a hose back down to the ground. And the hose back up to 12.5. Always make sure what you're going to be putting down before you put it down, because if you need it straight, you gotta put it straight. If you're not gonna do it straight, you need to make sure on that as well. What do we want to do here? What's down here? This bridge, there's really no boats that are really going to be able to fit underneath this, so we don't got to be too conservative with things. 6-lane, 2-way suspension bridge. I need a 3-lane, 1-way highway. 2-lane 1-way, 5-lane 1-way, 4-4-4-2. 3-lane 1-way suspension bridge. And of course it's these ones. I don't know how I feel about these. These have always been like the normal basic bridges and stuff that you have, but like those are the same thing. Like this 6-lane 2-way, because it combines them. I don't really want to combine them. 2-lane 2-way twin express bridge with median. Yeah, no. Like, what do we want here? 4-lane highway bikes and pedestrian double decked extra dosed bridge. 4-lane double decked. Nope. Double decked suspension bridge, 1-way highway each deck. So this is. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work here. Maybe somewhere else. 6-lane 2-way suspension bridge. Ooh. Do we want to do that? I mean, I think we can keep the crazy bridges for over there. Let's just go ahead and do a 3-lane, one-way truss arch bridge. Keeping it very simple. Nothing major going on here. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll go back to our 3-lane roads here. And the reason why I wanted to keep it sort of quote-unquote basic is because when it comes to, and I want to keep it separated into these 3 lanes, whenever it comes to, we are, and I don't know, you probably wouldn't do this here. And the reason why you wouldn't do this here, now I'm thinking about it, is because if there's ever like a flood or something, those trusses would just collect all that crap. Yep, so we gotta do this. And whatever. Didn't want to do that, but we're ending up with it, and we're just going to have to live with it. So right here is this, and we have some intersections that we need to start looking into. This is a 2-lane road here that we have that needs to become so they could become a 4 here, and there's 6 lanes underneath. But this would actually connect, if I'm honest. Okay, stop spinning. Stop spinning. So I need it to go there, but then I need it to stop spinning. Okay. This would technically connect like this. So that's not going to work. That is like this, and those are all 2 lanes. It's always the trumpet. I've never not been a fan of the trumpet. Like if we put it here, is how that would go. Cloverleaf. We might want to go Cloverleaf. This is a single point, 4 level. There's this guy here, which honestly kind of makes sense for what this is. So like if we pause this here, deleted that, came over here, and we're actually going to rotate it into this direction. Okay, stop rotating. Okay, and then we're going to place it right along here. And I put it close to that side just because it's going to be easier for me to get this 3-lane connected into there. So let's take this, grab our 3-lane highway, and get back to work here. So we need to go there, and then right there we're going to need it. Nope, right there we're going to need another curve. And that's going to get us our curve that we need to get into there. And this is going to give us our highway section that we need to get into the city area. So let's go back to straight line here. Awesome. So there's that. And then we need what? This 2-lane road to come off of here. And that just connects in beautifully on top of that. So that allows us to have this highway that's coming over. We can still use this to get off of that area there. Hopefully this isn't flooding out with water for some reason. I don't know why it would, but it may. Okay. So now that this is situated, we sort of need to start getting our basis of how our city's going to be laid out. So we need, first of all, of course, there's going to be this point sort of area. I don't know if I want, do I want a highway rolling down through this edge? I know I got bridges and stuff that will be branching across. Of course, there's going to be a bridge from this highway. I really don't want this highway to do anything extracurricular for the basis of it. So I want to keep it, quote unquote, at ground level. But if I can get it to like right there, and then we can end up putting a bridge into there, that would be awesome. We then also would need, we're gonna end up having like a 6-lane 2-way highway that comes through here, and that's probably going to be the main highway that flows through the city. And I don't know if we would want to do it on like an edge road that would come through. I'm trying to sort of think of Pittsburgh right now. So Pittsburgh's sort of crazy the way that it's laid out. So you would actually have a, you're gonna have a way over here. We might as well pop this up to 30 or so. You'd end up having one of these, and it's going to be, where is that? Double decked 4-lane highway, double train track. No. We got, where was that double deck? 3-lane double deck suspension bridge highway. You would have this here that would go across. So right there is one of your bridges that you would have. Where do we go from there? Okay, let me see here. Okay, so we would take, where are we at? Over here. We do not want this to go over that. We want this to come out of here and actually be in line with that. So then we would take this. I mean, I would have this drop almost instantly to about there. And then, okay, so we got that there, and then we can create another turning point off of it. And I would do that just in case, just so those don't, yeah, it's like right on the outside of that. And then we would actually need this to switch, I don't know why it does that. There we go. So the underneath is that way, the overtop is that way. Get these right next to each other. And what do we want? We want, yep, so we'll go over here. And we're actually going to drop these completely to the ground. We want to do about a 4% grade is what we want to be at. We don't want to do anything crazy. Then we're actually going to take this move it tool and we're going to rotate this out just a little bit. Then once we have that there, we should be able to Is that wrong? Why is it popping in the wrong way? Okay, whatever you say here. Probably because I should have been not being an idiot here and doing this. Still the wrong way here. I think these are reversed. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and this and flip that. Okay. So this needs to all go that way. That all needs to go this way. I'm very positive that these are reversed. So that's awesome. Because now whenever it gets down to the area that we need these to connect into, we're gonna have a slight issue. That's gonna piece off like that. Okay, so then this needs flipped around. This might be driving you guys crazy, but in the end it's probably gonna work out a lot better than we expect it to. So then we're actually going to upgrade this piece of roadway. Hated the way that it just did that. Upgrade this piece of roadway on the right hand side. Yep, that should give you enough time to piece that off. So we'll grab it up over like this. We don't want to go anything too crazy. So we'll probably, right there, 4% grade. Nice and smooth. Bring it out. And then we're going to complex curve it back over. When we complex curve it, we do need, so there's 4.5, there's 4.3. We don't even need it that high, we only need it to there. So that's actually very nice. And then we will get this to right there. And then we'll turn it over and turn it this way. And we need about 4%. There we go. So there's that. That's a little too much curve there for my liking. So let's actually take this and angle it all in this direction. Actually, what we will do is we'll actually take that off. Take that there. Awesome. So then we will turn it like that and morph it in. So that gets us a little bit more smoothness to it. It's still a little bit rocky the way that that comes out, but I guess we'll quote unquote live with it. We're not going to live with it. Because what this should be doing is this. It should be up at 10 here. Just like that. Okay, so that goes over. And then right there. And we can do 4.9, I'll live with that. So that gets me something a little bit easier to deal with. And then we actually need to upgrade this on this side and have this come out of here. Probably just want to do a normal curve. I want to lower that down to the ground so it could be better snapping. honestly probably want to do complex, honestly. So there's that coming off of there. That one coming off of there. That morphs from 2 to 3 lanes. We might end up having something else that morphs into this from like a regular roadway or something. And then we'll take this guy out of here. So there's 10. And that's 6.7. So we're actually going to have to drop this back a little bit, but we don't want to go too crazy with it. So let's pop that out like that and that out like that. This will allow us to just delete the M piece right there. Awesome. Okay. So now we'll go 10 and we'll go 5.2, 4.4, and will this morph correctly? So it comes up over this way. Don't snap this. Okay. And then right to there. Make this snap again. Just morph that right into there as such. And then this one will actually piece out on this left lane. It's going to be real weird what we do here. We don't want this to go up. We want that to stay just like that. And then we want this to okay, so right here, 90 degree on 10. So right there. And then morph in like that. Awesome. So I think that's good for what we want it to do there. That gives us our bridge that goes across. That gives us our quote-unquote highway access. We're also going to need probably, I mean, that's, is that 5? Yeah. So we can actually scoot this right. I mean, I don't know if we would want to. You need to sort of do that and then come off of it. Sort of something like this. That gets you down over that way, so that would come there. Oh god, that's okay. This has got me all messed up. Need to do that. And then you actually need this to be elevated. Awesome. Okay. And then this is actually going to be a 4-lane. We don't want that. Just want to keep it elevated. And then actually take this bad boy. Nope, we're actually gonna... I want to do this as the turn point. And then take these. Guess there's really no way to do that, so we'll have to do it ourselves. Not snap that, and put just like that. But then this needs to... This needs to stay like this, though. Just like that. Okay, so that's going to be a highway entrance and exit right there. But this allows me to do this too. I didn't even think about this. So if I actually 2-lane that, and then took this 1 lane off of here. What is this at? Is this like 20 or 30 or something like that? Definitely don't want that. Okay. And can we... I think it would be right there. Okay, so we're back on here. I think it's 28 and a half. No, that's actually too high. That is a 13, that is 12% grade. Yeah, that's not something we can do like that. So let me see. Let me go back down to 5. Take it off of here. Swoop through for... Oh God, what do you know? So there's that. Get this to snap again. And then go up to probably 22. But that's going to give us a 7% grade. Into there. And then like that. And then this actually just needs moved out like that. Oh no. Why'd this do that? Just right like that. And that gets us our entrance ramp onto there. And then this is... which way does that go? So that goes that way. This is coming off. Right? Yeah, that's coming off. So you would technically need something from here to loop around to connect into this. And this technically has to be... two-laned like that. It also needs to be elevated. So there has to be a way for me to squeeze in a lane off of this, because this needs to be what, a 4-lane right here, just coming off the bridge instantly. And I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be that either. Why does it do this? Okay, there we go. And now that only has like one leg in there. It's not really what I was looking for, so let's switch this back over. Is that just not going to give me an extra leg now? Okay. We'll deal with it off of this. So let's take complex curve, and we'll take it over here, and we will go down to 13. Let's get a tight corner there. That's 8, and that's 8. So you sort of want to just leave it there. And then we'll take this down to, what is that, 5 that we need to go to? We actually need to be at 15 through here. Actually, that's actually going up a little bit, so we actually need right like that. Okay, so this will go this would go right in here somewhere. Let's get this to not snap. And let's get that to go right there. And then right there. Down, down, down. And right like that. I think these vehicles should fit through this. The only way that I feel like they wouldn't is if, like, let's take this, lower that down, lower this down, just to get this to be a little bit more of a dip here. Move this out so it's a more flowing corner there. Now that corner dips through and takes care of that like that. Awesome. We are now getting very Pittsburghy, where things just intertwine and fly over each other, so I'm liking it. So there is the new highway system that's going through there. Wonder if we should make something that pieces off of this area here. Like, should this even... this should have a 4-lane road that just comes straight to it. And I know it sounds weird, and I know it may be weird that we have that, and that's so dumb that it did that. Okay, there we go. But I think it's all going to make sense in the end, with that being that. You'll have an entrance there that you can go on. We'll probably have an exit here somewhere, or at least like an overpass maybe. Let's see. If we were to take this here, and again, remember 50 is the base. We want to probably go like 60 here. So we'll take that, and we'll take that on the other side. And we'll take this over here. And then we just want to soften that. Okay. And then we want to soften this on this side. And then we can get a bridge across this. What do we want to do? Do we want to do a 4-lane truss arch like we've been doing everywhere else in the city? That is, that's very close to the ground. I don't think that that's gonna work. Oh my, that was like really, really close. That's too, like, this is almost like, you probably need it this height for it to work correctly. I don't think I would be too upset against that, honestly. Let me see here. So we want to probably, is that 70 that's sitting at? That is. Okay. And now we want to soften this a ton. Okay, so we got that softened. And that allows me to bring this roadway over here, which we basically want to do at 0 height. Does that never like sit on the ground fully? Okay, so there's that. Why is this not? There we go. I wanted to make sure that that was all situated there. So let's pull this off of there. Awesome. And just swap that twice. You gotta hit it twice. And it'll go ahead and work. So there's our interchange here. Again, really shouldn't be any trees and stuff in the median. Sometimes there is, but like whenever it's this close, it's just probably not going to be the thing that is occurring. Okay. So there's that. Like how this splits apart here, this would probably have a spot where trees are in there. I thought there was a tree in the middle of the road. It's just a shadow. Awesome. These are way too close. Truck or something would clip those and it would be no fun. And make sure that we have this so I can't delete the roads. There we go. Oh my god, there's a ton of trees through here. I think it's because I've been building with anarchy mode on. It sort of doesn't get rid of the trees whenever it should. I just deal with the aftermath later. But I can't build over here without anarchy on for the fact of I don't own these plots. I guess I could buy them because I have 101 plots that I'm able to buy, but we just haven't gotten there yet. Definitely no trees in the middle of this because you can't see whenever you're merging. So that is one thing that you want to create some realism. Make sure that you're not placing trees in random spots. I know that I love trees, but you gotta think about it sometimes. This guy's just out here repairing the road already. Like, what's wrong with it? I just built it. Okay. Sounds awesome. Got that all situated there. I don't know why. Oh yeah, because that's the whatever that works for me. And again, no trees in there. Just can't merge correctly. And there's trees in the middle of the road again. This is just tree cleaning up time. Is what it is. Okay, so that's all good there. That's all good over there. I think we got this situated. So brand new highway system going in through here. Very, very, very beautiful. Got the new highway system in here. I think it turned out pretty swell. Goes over the train tracks and comes straight from this part of the city. So I think it will be good because this is going to be an industry type area. So in this industrial area here, you'll be able to get to work from the city or from the suburbs. Everything's interconnected. There's also this highway that rolls through and the backside highway. And the reason why that's good is because you're not going to have all the traffic just coming from one location. We do have this highway that breaks off through the center as well. Where does this one go? That one, is that the one that that's the one that we just built, yeah. Okay, so we got that one there. Got this one here. Where's this one go? That one goes up to the end of the map, so people can come down through there, but we could probably actually make it that people that are coming down this roadway can actually morph into this highway over here. So let's just throw that together real quick. So we gotta go highway, 2-lane, split that apart, put that on ground level, go here, make sure it's snapping actually. Awesome. And where does that go? That goes there. So we're actually going to take it and put it to right there. And I believe I know the intersection that I want to use for it. I was going to do that one, but that one technically doesn't work. This one technically doesn't work either. Does this one work? Yes, it does. Okay. So we need to situate that there. Yep, that just morphed right over top of it. So let me see what we need to do here. You take this roadway, delete that, and then this has to be upgraded to a 3-lane asymmetrical. And I think it's 2 going in, 1 coming out. Yep, 2 coming in, 1 going out. And that's just a little off, but who cares? We're gonna readjust this turn here. So don't even focus on that right now. Okay. You got that there. Right there. Nice smooth curve going through. Awesome. Love it. Alrighty, so we got the highways all in place, and the city is ready for the Skyscrapers DLC to come out, and I think it's looking pretty good. So thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate you guys spending time with me as always. I've been Chase, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.